talk about climate change. I'm glad you're here. You see, climate change is when the patterns of weather change a little bit. You know, patterns like when it's hot in summer and cold in winter every year, that's a pattern. Climate change means those patterns start to change a little bit. Right, now, what I'm going to use is this globe. This is the Earth, pretty cool Earth. It spins around, goes around the sun, and what I'm going to say is, I want you to pretend this ball is the Earth, because the thickness of our atmosphere is actually about the thickness of that rubber there. It's really, really, really thin. Our atmosphere gives us oxygen, it helps us transmit Wi-Fi. It's pretty important, especially for watching YouTube. But we are polluting our atmosphere at the moment, and the way we're polluting our atmosphere is by burning this stuff. This is coal. When we burn this stuff, it helps us make this stuff, electricity, to power our homes and stuff like that. Now, when we make electricity, we burn the coal, and it makes this stuff called carbon dioxide. That's the same stuff. That's the same stuff that we breathe out. Okay, now, the problem is, when we put out this carbon dioxide, it goes into the atmosphere and we get lots and lots of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. Now, carbon dioxide kind of acts like a sponge. You know how a sponge goes into water and it takes in the water? Well, carbon dioxide takes in heat and it makes the atmosphere hotter. They're like heat sponges up in the air. Now, the problem with these heat sponges is not just the atmosphere gets hotter, it has all these other effects on other parts of the environment. Kind of like dominoes. When one thing changes, the rest of them change. When the atmosphere heats up, there's all these other changes. Right, so one of the changes is that when we put our carbon dioxide into the air, it heats up our atmosphere, we all know that hot air, it actually rises. So if I can cut one of these, that'll be good, and we can actually see it rise, hot air rises. Now when hot air rises, the air next to it has to come in to replace it. And that makes new wind patterns around the world, you see. Now, if there's new wind patterns, here's a problem. Here's one of the domino effects. Places that used to get rain might no longer get them because the wind's blown them away. And places that didn't get much rain actually now start to get heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps because the wind pattern started changing and it blew the rain to a different spot. Another domino effect is that our oceans heat up. If the atmosphere is hotter, what happens is the top layer of the ocean starts to get hotter as well. Now I'm just using this raspberry food dye to try to indicate that our oceans are starting to get a bit warmer. That's another domino effect. The third one I want to say is actually our sea levels rising. Because what happens if the atmosphere is hotter, our glaciers on land and all our ice, I'm going to pretend this is ice on land, it goes into the ocean, and what happens is our sea levels start rising. So hopefully you saw that level of the water come up. That's what's happening to our ocean at the moment. Our sea levels are rising because the ice trapped on land is melting and going into the ocean. Now, they're pretty bad impacts, but those three impacts have even more domino effects, especially on the Riverina. And in our next video, we're going to tell you what those impacts are. Yeah!